I'm both annoyed and excited right now. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 4 of Daemons of the Shadow Realm. And like I said in the cold open, I am annoyed and I am excited at the same time. Yes, it's possible, because this episode has been hyped up by manga readers, and that is both annoying and exciting. It's annoying because it sets an expectation. Whenever manga readers do this kind of thing, it sets an expectation that is either going to be met or could never possibly be met. There's no in between. And that's difficult. That's annoying. Because if that expectation is not met, then it kind of hurts the overall enjoyment to a degree. I like going into reactions as blind as possible because it means I don't know anything. It means I don't have that expectation set. And I get to experience it with fresh eyes, getting to enjoy it for what it is. And that's done wonders for a lot of shows for me. There's so many shows that I've loved much more than if I would have known things going in. And some shows can still win me over even with knowing some things here and there. But for the most part, I like to be as spoiler-free as possible. But I will admit, it's also exciting. It's also exciting to have this kind of hype built up because it means that the people who were, into the manga and know this series really love what's coming up. And that kind of passion and excitement is great. It's a genuinely good thing. And to see that they're excited for anime onlys to get to that is a camaraderie you unfortunately don't see enough of these days. Too often, people, especially manga onlys, like to hate on anime onlys. It's like, oh, why don't you just read the manga? The manga's better. Watching the anime is the loser's way to do it. Like, I hear this shit all the time. I see this on every social media platform. But when you see, like, fans of the manga get this excited over an adaptation being seen by people who have never read the manga, and the events getting them so hyped up that, new people are going to experience it, even if it's through a different medium. That's exciting. That's awesome. And this is not the only show this has been happening with. There's a lot of shows for this season, especially, that this has been happening with. Witch Hat Atelier, Doro Doro, One Piece has gotten some of it, even though there's a lot of One Piece manga elitists out there. There's a lot of them, unfortunately. But overall, there's been a lot of positivity from the manga original or manga only crowd for these new anime. And I like seeing that. I just enjoy that. I enjoy that kind of positivity in my life, But last we left off, Yuru was still getting used to things, with the left and the right also having to get used to the modern world. And their new friends are just, gonna pretend to be a couple during all of this, despite Hana being more into Jason Statham of all specifics. Not, again, I think I said this last time, nothing wrong with that. I'm not personally into Jason Statham, but I can see why a lot of people would be. He is just not my type whatsoever. It's just personally for me, nah. But also, it's just the randomness of name dropping Jason Statham is always funny to me. But we also had a little bit of a look into the other clan. I can't remember the name of the clan right now. I know there's the Tadara clan, which is Dara and Hana's clan. Which is also the clan that the village belongs to, I believe they said. And then there's this other clan that Jin, Asa, probably Yuru and Asa's parents, and Gabby all belong to. And I can't remember the name of the other clan. But we saw a little bit of them with specifically Jin last time. We saw him using his Daemons, which are a pair of anglerfish, to disguise as a girl who hired them to lure a stalker into a trap and kill him, honestly. It just killed him. Which, mind you, he was trying to kill the girl. Like, actively said he was going to kill her. So, maybe a good idea to take him out. But it also painted, like, the different sides of things. Like, Hana and Dara mentioned to Yuru and left and right the differences between the clans. And it seems like, from what we can tell, the biggest difference is that the other clan seems to be willing to do a lot more. And it seems like it really centers around violence. They're much more willing and ready to kill when the need arises. While you have the Tadara clan, which seems more like generally peaceful. But there's also still the questions about the village itself and why Yuru and Asa's parents fled in the first place, why they only took Asa. Lot of questions. A lot of big, important questions for this entire clan debate and issue, as well as the entire thing with the twins sundered of night and day, or whatever it was. It's like there's a lot that we have to think about with all of this. And I like that. I've also seen some people noting how this series is, like, slow. But most people I've seen talk about this are not, like, referencing that as a bad thing, which I like. I like that people are not, like, automatically saying it's bad because it's slow. But most people are saying, like, it's notably slow, and that almost implies that they're building up to something. And that's the kind of vibe I've gotten as well. It feels like they're setting everything up still, laying down all the pieces, and getting ready to make their move. Remember, the creator of this series
she made Full Metal Alchemist. And yes, that series had a like much more, at least in terms of Brotherhood, had a much more like quick start. But the manga, which a lot of that early stuff was adapted into the original Full Metal Alchemist series, was a little bit slower. A lot of it was just, Ed and Al doing things, going to these different places. And yeah, a lot of it came back around, like the stuff with Yoki and the mining town, and obviously the stuff with Father Cornello, which was adapted in Brotherhood. And I think there was more stuff with like maybe Mustang and um, Central and stuff like that. It's been a while since I've seen anything besides Brotherhood. But yeah, it's like there was a little bit of a slow setup to the start as well. I think the biggest difference, though, is that, with the start of Full Metal Alchemist, there's also the backstory of what happened with Ed and Al that really, like, sets the tone early on, and then other early stuff like Nina Tucker that gets people at a much quicker investment. This series seems to be like a little slower paced, and it's much more taking its time, which I have no issue with. I do not have issue with slow pacing if it serves a purpose. And honestly, so far I've been still enjoying the hell out of it. Like the fish out of water stuff with Yuru left and right, like learning about the modern technology and stuff has been great. And I've been enjoying like getting to like explore these characters a bit before we get into any of the really heavy stuff. The first episode like did give us notable shit happening. It was this big like heavy intense um like attack on the village. All these people being violently and horrifically murdered. You can't say shit didn't go down. It's just that since then, we've kind of like gone back and started like exploring the characters a little more. But either way, I'm excited for this episode to see what manga fans are excited for us anime onlys to see. And honestly, like I said, I've already been enjoying the shit out of this series. I've been like, I'm already sold on it. Hiromu Arakawa, honestly, like, is already striking it out, or striking a hit. Not striking it out. Oh, that's a... Ugh. Already striking a hit with this series as well. I don't know if it'll be a home run to keep this baseball analogy going, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was. But it's already very, very good. So I think we should just get into this and see what this episode has in store.
Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out.
Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I just spent like probably like 35 or so minutes trying to find Gonzo Kagemori's dub VA and failed. I have not been able to find it anywhere. Like I don't have Crunchyroll, so I can't like check on there. But I swear to God, it is John Swayze. John Swayze is Hohenheim from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He's Death, Lord Death from um Soul Eater. I don't know why my mind is blanking right now. Crocodile from One Piece, and multiple other things. But I swear Gonzo Kagimori sounded like him, the old man, leader of the clan, I guess. I swear he sounded like him. It's gotta be. It's gotta be him. But I couldn't find anything anywhere. So I don't know for sure. And unfortunately, like, I don't know when that information is going to become available. But what I can say is that this episode was pretty good. I I don't think it lived up to all the hype. This episode got so much hype because of, like, I guess manga fans saying, like, oh, people are going to get excited over this episode. It's like, it was good. I mean, I don't think it was, like, quite as good as, like, the manga readers were, like, making it out to be, but it's like, yeah, the appeal was definitely the confrontation between Yuru and Jin, and getting to see the other members of the clan and getting to see some of their daemons. That was the appeal. And that was the big scene. That was clearly what the hype was about. I get it. It was great. It was cool. Jin is so cool. He just is. Yuru showing off his hunter prowess was great. And, like, I love the entire tortoise in the hare concept for Daemon, since Daemons always come in pairs. I think that was just a really cool idea. We didn't get to see the other guys, Daemons, though, the bald guy. By the way, I have not completely gotten a hold of the names yet. The only reason I remember Gonzo's name is because I was looking for so long to try and find his dub VA. That's the only reason. Behind the voice actors even only shows the Japanese VA for him right now. By the way, the bald guy from the clan is really pretty. Like, that might sound weird to say, but it's like, it's the eyes. His eyes are just really pretty. I don't know how to explain it, but they really are. The blonde one is like, I don't know. I feel like I've seen characters like him before. Doesn't really, nothing really special about him. In terms of his appearance or his character, the blonde guy, like, has been, I think, entirely silent this entire time and hasn't really shown any emotion. So I'm very curious about him. But we also haven't seen his daemons yet. They were mentioned as being, like, set up to stop the whoever they were going to lure in. They, again, weren't expecting Yuru specifically, but from escaping. But yeah, we just didn't get to see them yet. But that was obviously the big scene that everybody was excited over, and yeah, it was really cool. It was great. But it's like the hype that I saw, like, on social media for this, it's like, okay, a bit much. A little bit much. Of course, it's not the only series that's gotten hype over, like, upcoming episodes, so it's going to happen, I feel. Like I said in the pre-thoughts, but for those of you who are watching on Patreon and didn't see the pre-thoughts, basically there's just been a lot of people hyping this and other series up, and they've been, like, getting excited for specific episodes coming up of each of these different series, and so it's both a good and a bad thing, because it's like, oh, it sucks because they're setting expectations, and, like, with this episode, they weren't quite met. But it's also cool because it means that they're passionate and they're excited for anime onlys to, like, really get into it, and I love seeing that. I love seeing that kind of, like, excitement over new people discovering the material, even if it's in a different medium. So yeah, I just don't think it quite lived up to the hype I was seeing about it, but it was still very good. It was, like, genuinely very good still. I like the scene showing them at, I guess, the Kagomori's compound. Not just for meeting Gonzo and seeing kind of like a little more of their like organization and everything. But we got to check in with Gabby. She's just, playing on her Switch, having some fun. Maybe she's getting into Tomodachi Life or, I don't know, Donkey Kong Bonanza. What other games are still big right now on the Switch? I don't know. But she's having fun. And we see Asa was training, though at the end Yuru was ordering Jin to call Asa's in so that they could talk. And there's definitely still, like, this episode still hammers in the idea that neither side is necessarily bad, and that there's just more going on here that we don't know yet. It's just that the Kagemori are much more willing to go that extra step into basically violence. But it's very clear that there's a moral ambiguity here that makes it a lot more interesting than just one side good, one side bad, which in some cases works. The black and white view of one side is good, one side is bad can work depending on the series. In One Piece, the Celestial Dragons are just evil. They are violently, horrifically evil. There's no getting around that. And obviously the Straw Hats are good. And the Revolutionary Army are good. That is just, there is no getting around that. That is just the case. But even One Piece has a lot of ambiguity with some of its groups and characters and whatnot. It happens. Ambiguity is real, but also, unfortunately, so is, like, just people being evil. Both can coexist and do. And both need to be represented. And we get, in this, at least so far, a more nuanced view of things. We haven't gotten any characters that we can say are definitely just outright evil. And we might get something with that, because it brings up in this episode that Daemons can't really be classified the same way as humans, that they're very, very diverse in, I guess, their morality and stuff, as well as their level of sentience and ability to speak. We see, like, even different animal-based Daemons even are different in that regard. Hana's Daemons, who I can't remember the name of right now, but the dog and the cat, they don't speak. They have the ability to use technology. They're clearly smarter than, like, a real dog and a cat. But they are basically a dog and a cat. Just a little bit smarter. But then you have the one Kagemori clan guys, Daemons, which are the tortoise and the hare. And at least the hare can speak. Can form complex thoughts and have opinions and stuff. The tortoise, I assume, can as well. We just didn't get any of that here. But it's like, it just does appear to differ here and there. It also seems like Jin's Daemons don't seem to have the ability to, like, speak either. Ai and Makoto. They seem to be, like, more, again, like Hana's. Where they're just, like, slightly smarter versions. Also, we get to see a new ability for Makoto in this, with the ability to store stuff. Despite Makoto being the smaller of the two anglerfish, I don't know Makoto's pronouns and gender. I know I is a girl. I'm not sure on Makoto, though. I'm just going to say they, them for now. Makoto, despite being the smaller one, is able to store presumably anything within them. But maybe it is only weapons. Because all we see is weapons, right? There's the knife back at the compound, which is used to slice the apple. And then there's all the weapons, the guns and swords and whatever else in the big battle at the parking garage. So yeah, um, it might be only weapons. I don't know if there's like a limit to that. I don't know how that works. We just haven't been told. So, I do really like though that we're getting to see the Daemons like notably in action, because that's always a good thing. The series is named after them, at least in the English title. Um, and Yomi no Sugai, I assume, means at least something similar, because Yomi is darkness, right? Or dark or darkness. I'm not sure about Sugai. But like I know Yomi is darkness because of various other anime. One Piece being an example because of the Yomi Yomi no Mi, which is the dark fruit that is held by Blackbeard. But also I know it because of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, weirdly enough. And just Yu-Gi-Oh in general, I guess. But yeah, I'm very curious to see more of these Daemons. I'm curious to see the bald guys Daemons. And I want to see like these battles, but I also want to see like other applications of them. Like even just I being used as like a jail cell for Yuru. It's like that's just a fun application of that. I just kind of dig that. I also like that we see that the left and the right, because they're technically carved from stone, um, attacks like gunfire and whatnot, swords just don't work on them. Because, like, obviously they're not, like, physically feeling like stone if you, like, touch them on the shoulder or something. It's like, I'm sure, like, to a person like Yuru or whatnot, if he, like, high-fived them, it wouldn't feel like stone. Or if he patted them on the shoulder, it wouldn't feel like stone. But the stone probably comes into play, like, in terms of offense and defensive abilities. That would be my guess. Maybe it's something they could just turn on and off, for all we know. But it's interesting nonetheless. I like that we see that even with the Daemons, that we see that the Kagimori clan people can also just fight. Like they definitely have some martial arts prowess. They're able to use weapons, not just guns, but like even like martial weapons and stuff pretty well. They're probably super well trained, I would imagine. Jin also mentions in this, it's like, oh, the village is probably still recovering from what we did. They probably wouldn't do a counterattack this quickly. Which means that they're expecting the village, the Tadera clan, to counterattack. Which is interesting. Because the village, at least, seems very, like, again, secluded from everything else. So, would they attack? I don't know if, like, they would do that. And if maybe they have, like, people on the outside who would attack. I don't know. But either way, I'm very interested to see where that goes. Because I want to learn more about the lore of these clans and the world and the prophecy, obviously. Also, this was just because I assumed shit based on their appearances. I genuinely thought Asa was the one representing Night. I don't think it's mentioned before, like this, which one was which. But I know I know it's assumption based on the fact that Asa has black hair instead of blonde, and Asa is wearing all these dark clothes and stuff. But then it like directly says in this episode that Yuru is the one representing Night, and it like utilizes his hunting prowess as like representative for him like working in the shadows and stuff. And it's like, well, now I feel like an asshole for just assuming based on their appearances. I profiled them. I feel like an asshole. Obviously, it was an unintended thing based on just, standard character design tropes. I think that might have been intentional, though, because again, I don't remember them saying anything in a previous episode about which one was which. I think you're supposed to think that, because again, standard character design tropes would make you think that. Usually colors are important for design work in general. And so usually when you see like lighter colors, like the blonde hair, the blues that Yuru wears and whatnot, you're gonna think naturally light. And when you see the blacks and the reds of Asa, you would think darkness. I think that was intentional. I might be wrong. I might just be, profiling them based on their appearances. But, by the way, I'm not like making a joke out of this to make light of that kind of thing. Profiling is a very big problem, especially for like people of color and stuff. So I'm very much not trying to make light of that by using that as like what I'm saying as an example with this all. I'm just saying because it kind of would still be considered profiling when you're assuming something about someone based off of their physical appearance and all, or like factors like that. I just want to make clear I'm not making light of real life profiling because that is a very big problem, especially for people of color. Just want to make that clear. But yeah, it's either way, I feel like that probably was intentional. Because, again, unless I'm just dumb and missed something before where it did say, but I don't think it did. I think it specifically has not, like, said which one was which until now. But yeah. I like seeing, like, how competent every character is. Except maybe Dara. Like, Dara is the only one who constantly seems to be messing up to some degree, whether it's just, for Hana's, like, Hana liking him. It's like, oh, you got rid of the one thing that made you kind of like Jason Statham? Well, I hate you now. It's like, one, what? Two, I agree he looked better with the facial hair, but I understand why he shaved it. Three, what? Like, seriously. What kind of statement is that? But also, like, Dara messing up with, like, leaving his, whatever the tool he mentioned out where Yuru could take it and everything, and also just, both of them, really, letting Yuru out of their sight with the fact that he's being hunted and everything. It's like, that was just stupid of both of you. More so Dara, because he had more stupid points, definitely. But Hana too, in that case, for sure. But yeah, I like seeing, like, at least in terms of combat, the capabilities of everyone. I liked getting to hear more emotion from Jerry Jewell in his voice performance for Jin in this episode. Because like I brought up, like in his first in his debut in episode 2, he sounded very stoic and quiet, and I was wondering if like that was like part of the role, or if it was like maybe some issue with the recording that day. But it does seem like it was part of the role because he has started to expand a little more, like in moments of more emotion. I think his character just normally has a little bit of a stoic voice, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I wasn't expecting Jerry Jewell of all VAs to play a character that stoically, and so I wasn't sure at first because he normally like performs very like bombastically, especially with the likes of Barry the Chopper and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So, But yeah, I loved I loved this episode either way. Really liked getting to learn more stuff, to see more of like the types of daemons out there, and hopefully next episode continues that. We'll see if Jin does call Asa in. And if so, what's said between Yuru and Asa here? Maybe we'll get more info, more lore. That would be cool. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode. And if there is anything that I forgot to mention that you want to hear my thoughts on specifically, please feel free to ask in the comments. I do see every comment, so I will be able to see if there is something that I need to respond to. But that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.